Alright everyone, RJ here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'll be doing a follow-up on the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G. Now this will not be a review. This is going to be kind of a follow-up, giving you my opinion on the phone so far. I've had the phone for around a month and a half, and I haven't really done anything else with it other than like speed test comparisons with other phones. I will be doing an actual review here soon. Probably around the 2 month mark, something like that, doing some gameplay and just doing a more thorough review of this phone. But right now, I want to just kind of discuss some things about it that I like and don't like about it, even stuff like that. And also, if you hear fan or air noise in the background, I do apologize for that. It is hot, it is summer, so the air is running, and I got no external microphone here to be able to knock out that wind noise, so I do apologize for that, but that's just the way it goes. So the first thing I'm going to touch on is the design and build of the A54 5G. I love it, okay? Got a really nice glass back here, Gorilla Glass 5. The front glass is also Gorilla Glass 5. I think it's got a plastic frame. Not a big deal, not a deal breaker in any means. Just a really nice looking phone. Even the camera setup looks a lot like the S23 series of phones, and basically it is the exact same size, best of my knowledge, as an S23 Plus. And if you was to take a $900 or $1,000 S23 Plus and put it next to a $450 retail price A54 5G and put them on a table side by side, and just an average person say, hey, which one is the flagship $900 or $1,000 phone and which one is right at half the price? Most ain't going to be able to tell you the difference because they are just so similarly designed here on it's just yeah, it just is. So I would say that Samsung knocked it out of the park with the design. Now it is a bit wider than a lot of phones that you see today. A lot of phones have a 20:9 aspect ratio, which I do prefer. This has a 19:5:9, so it is a little bit wider, but definitely not a big deal. It's just, something I wanted to point out there. So to me, big thumbs up on the build quality and looks of the phone. Second of all is this phone's display, okay? It's beautiful. We know Samsung makes some of the best displays. This is a 6.4 inch Full HD Super AMOLED display. It's got a 120 refresh rate, and I mean, the phone is really smooth under basic usage. This phone is very smooth. That 120 hertz just makes everything just kind of glide along. But if you're wanting to watch videos, YouTube videos, Netflix, or whatever streaming service or anything, you're not going to have any issue whatsoever seeing the display, seeing how beautiful it is. The blacks are really dark. The colors are very punchy. I mean, the display is just beautiful. Going in here into the settings, I mean, it just looks really good. And I mean, in that 120 hertz, this phone definitely needs 120 hertz also. And I'll explain why here in a little bit. But I would have to say, Samsung, best displays on the market, and even on a phone that costs $450, I mean, it kind of blows you away. I mean, honestly, it does. So, I mean, I got nothing negative to say about the display of this phone. It just looks good. Next up is this phone's battery life. It's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and it has 25-watt fast charging. Well, we'll call it quick charging. But 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and the battery lasts quite a while. Now, I did have it on Metro by T-Mobile. In my area, I do not get very good T-Mobile service at all. So whenever I was, on Wi-Fi calling with Wi-Fi turned on and the cellular network trying to pull in signal, the battery was horrific in this phone, which is a lot of phones. This, when you're in a poor coverage area, is trying to get coverage. Battery was awful. Whenever I would turned it in airplane mode with Wi-Fi on, the battery lasted forever. So if you are in a really good coverage area with this phone, and it's not having to sit there and signal hunt, you're going to be okay on battery life. I haven't done a battery endurance test on it yet, like watching a video from like 100% to dead to see just how long the battery does last. I do those quite often, and I will do it with this phone here as well before the review. But battery life is overall good. 5,000 milliamps, 25-watt charging, not the fastest in the world, but you can easily get through a day, maybe even a day and a half, depending on how you use your phone. And then it always depends on your coverage area. If you're always signal hunting, it's gonna always, of course, it's gonna drain a lot faster. But overall, battery, definitely nothing to complain about. Next up is the cameras of the A54 5G. The cameras are really good. The main camera is 50 megapixel with a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 5 megapixel macro. Had to read that off there because I didn't know it by heart. You can record at 4K at 30 frames per second. Pretty solid. The pictures I have taken with it, they have been pretty decent. Nothing to complain about. It's not flagship quality. It's definitely not Pixel A-series quality, nothing like that. But they do a good job. Now, right now, I am going to do this while I'm on this video. I am recording right now at 4K 60 on the front camera of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. So I am going to record at 4K 30 here on the A54 right now and show you the difference in the same lighting between the 22 Ultra flagship phone versus the A54 5G's mid-range phone. So here's the quality and microphone quality in 4K on the front camera of the Galaxy A54 5G, recording the video with the S22 Ultra right here, as you can see. So I'm gonna keep this brief, but I can see a difference between this phone here and this phone right here. I haven't really tested the microphone out, so this is going to also be a testament to see how it's going to actually do. But yeah, just a brief front-facing video sample of the Galaxy A54 5G. Okay, so not having watched that footage yet, I won't see the footage until I go into editing this video to see how it actually done. Now I'm back on the 22 Ultra A54 5G right here. It looked pretty good, with the same lighting, but we got to see how it looks, in the final thing and everything. But I would say that, for those, honestly, this could be a daily driver for anyone. It's got good enough cameras, a very good display, very good battery life. There's just really not very many negatives about this phone that I can speak of, that I can speak on. I'm going to also add this in here while I'm at it, is price. The phone came in at around $450, which rivaled the prices of like the Pixel 7a, some other phones. Of course, you got phones overseas from like Redmi, Xiaomi, Realme, all those that make some really good phones that are a lot cheaper than this phone, that does a lot more than this phone. But of course, they're not really made here for the U.S., so they don't really work like they're supposed to here in the U.S. But pricing $450 is its retail price. You can get it for $379 at times, $359. I would say right now, if you're looking for a carrier and T-Mobile is good in your area, the best deal you're going to find right now on this phone, which is how I got it, is through Metro by T-Mobile. You can get a new line for $50 with this phone. This phone costs $50 with a new line. If you was to go in, or not go in, you can do it online if you get a new line. $50 for the phone, pay $40 for the plan, you get the phone under $100. Yeah, I can't beat, $50 for with a new line for this phone, that's a steal and a half. So if you're looking for a new carrier and T-Mobile is who you're looking for, I highly recommend checking out Metro. Not sponsored at all by any means. It's free with a port in. So, but that's in-store only, unfortunately. So, you know, with in stores, they want to charge you for this and for everything. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how that goes. But anyway, so, you know, when it comes to all the likes, you know, that's pretty much where I want to leave it off at. Is it's a good overall phone. It runs Android 13. It runs One UI 5.1. You know, it's got a lot of bands support. It's just going to work. Okay. Now, here comes the dislike. And it's a big one. And that is the performance and Samsung's choice of processor they put in this phone. They took a great phone that is pretty much solid in every area, and they put a pitiful, weak processor in it. The Exynos 1380. Now, like I said earlier, if you run this phone just for basic use, if you're just browsing social media, if you're watching YouTube, if you're, you know, doing stuff like that, you know, you're not going through and, you know, using up a lot of resources, the phone's going to work like any other phone's going to work, okay? It's whenever you try to push it any at all. You know, if you're wanting to game with this phone, you might experience some issue if you want to play anything more than like low setting, you know what I'm saying? Depending on the game. But if you try to push this phone and do multiple stuff with it, it's going to freeze up, it's going to lag, it's going to stutter here and there. It's just not going to be the best experience. I mean, they make a great phone in the A54 that it, you know, with good cameras, good, I mean, just good everything, but they put a sorry processor in it, and that's what's so bad about it, is the 1380 from Exynos. I mean, this one here has 6 gigabytes of RAM. Now, you're going to pay $450 retail for that 6 gigs of RAM. So if you want the 8 gigabyte of RAM, you're going to pay more for it, you know. So I'm guessing now. I'm not saying for sure. I don't know the prices of everything everywhere. But the performance is just very underwhelming. It's not good, okay. Frame rates, yeah, I mean, it's just, like I say, if you want it for basic usage, for just, you know, Instagram browsing, Twitter browsing, even doing that, if you're trying to scroll too fast, it just sometimes just sticks and just, it's not smooth, okay? And that's where they messed up at. Like I mentioned in another video, if they would have stepped up and put like the Snapdragon 778G in this phone, it would have woke this phone up. It would have just, yeah, it would have been the phone, okay, for that price range. But they cheaped out. They went with a pitiful processor, and that's the biggest downfall. You know, I mean, you can have a great phone with great this and great that, but if your performance sucks, you know, that just it turns people off, because great phone, bad performance, you know, unless you're just a very basic user, you're gonna not be satisfied with the performance of the A54 5G. You know, there is more to this phone I can speak on, but this has went on a lot longer than I wanted it to. It's got an SD card slot. That's a major thumbs up as well. So I will do my full review, doing some gameplay, you know, stuff like that. You know, running some, you know, test on it and stuff like that here in the near future. I try to get a few photos, a few videos of better light and stuff like that before I do that video. So that's all I want to say about it. It's a good phone, bad performance. So if it's helpful informative in any way, hit that like button. Any questions you may have, leave it down below. If you're new here and haven't subscribed, be sure to consider subscribing. Clicking that bell on for all notifications. I sure would appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.